It turns out that constantly churning to employees is not only cheaper for Amazon, but substantially more productive. In fact, Jeff Bezos has gone as far as declaring that a tenured workforce is simply a march to mediocrity. As employees become more tenured, they tend to also become more comfortable and more lazy, or at least that's what Amazon thinks. So, over the years, Amazon has perfected how to attract employees and push them away at the same time. Essentially, they want you to come in with the big dreams, work your ass off for 2 years, realize that no one recognizes your efforts, and then leave so that the next sucker can come in and do the exact same thing. They've basically mastered the art of running a cutthroat meat grinder. So here's the twisted economics of Amazon and the downright putrid tactics they use to screw over their employees. In terms of how Amazon pushes out blue-collar workers, it's not really rocket science. They basically create a high-pressure, high-stress environment with lofty targets and no downtime. But the way they handle their tech workers is a lot more interesting. As you know, tech workers demand a pretty lofty salary, so Amazon has to employ some pretty clever, yet disgusting strategies. Likely the most notable of these strategies is screwing over their employees with the wonky vesting periods. If you're not familiar with vesting periods, it's basically how much time you have to wait until you can cash in under stock compensation. Most tech companies operate under a 4-year vesting schedule, with stock compensation being evenly split up across the years. At Facebook, for example, employees get 25% of their 12 stock grant every year, with 6.25% being unlocked every quarter. Google actually takes it to another level in terms of vesting. They not only front-load their stock vesting, but they do vesting on a monthly basis, so it's almost like a monthly salary. Amazon, however, does the exact opposite, as they backload their vesting. Engineers have to wait a full year just for 5% of their stock to vest, and another full year just for 15% to vest. It's not until the 3rd and 4th years that engineers actually receive 80% of their promised stock. Why not just stick around for 4 years? Then you'll get the full promised amount, right? Well, the reality is that this is extremely difficult due to the ACTS, aka PIPs. PIPs stands for Performance Improvement Plans, and Amazon swears by these. To these plans, Amazon ranks all of their employees every single year, and then they go ahead and fire the bottom 10% every single year. And as you would guess, this policy disproportionately affects new hires, and it creates an extremely toxic work culture. Basically, all of your team members will be trying to backstab you so that they're not the ones who are put on these performance improvement plans. Everyone is trying to survive the 2-year cliff and cash in on the stock compensation that's so close, yet so far away. The reality, though, is that the average employee doesn't even pass 2 years. But let's assume that you're part of a lucky few who make it through the full 4 years. Congratulations, you got a big payday, but now Amazon still wants you to leave. If you survive their first 4 years, it's unlikely that they'll put you on a performance improvement plan and force you out that way. But what they will do is severely nerf your pay and hope that you either leave or stay and work for substantially lower pay. Either option is okay with them. How do they do this, you ask? Well, remember that massive stock grant that they offered you when you joined? Well, let's just say you ain't getting that again. If you're lucky, you may get stock refreshers, but that's usually nothing in comparison to your compensation in year 3 and 4. If you are an L7, for example, your compensation will drop from nearly $1 million down to $300,000, and you're expected to maintain this same level of output if you want to continue avoiding the PIPs. By this point, though, most remaining Amazonians don't want to put up with this anymore. So if the PIPs didn't get them, the nerfed pay usually does. If things are so unfair at Amazon, though, why do people still join? Well, for delivery drivers and warehouse workers, it's often the only job they're able to find. But what about the tech workers? Surely they're smart enough to see through these tricks and do their research, right? Well, they are. Most of them know all about this, but they choose to join anyway because Amazon is oftentimes the only paying job that they're able to land. Of course, they could go ahead and join a respectable background company like a Visa or Oracle, but that won't make the same impact on their career trajectory that Amazon would. You see, no tech worker is putting up with all this just to work on Amazon retail. All the hype for tech workers is to get into AWS or Amazon Web Services. If you're not familiar with AWS, they're the gold standard when it comes to cloud computing and infrastructure. AWS holds a market share of 41.5% in the cloud computing market, which is more than their main competitors combined. Microsoft comes in at 29.4%, while Google comes in at a measly 2.6%. As such, everyone in the cloud space is looking for ex-AWS employees. In fact, many job postings will literally list AWS experience as a minimum qualification. So, many tech workers figure that putting up with Amazon is their best shot at potentially landing a job at a non-abusive FAANG company.